We're following a developing story out of Afghanistan where a U.S. soldier has been killed east of Kabul. A spokesman for the NATO-led coalition in Afghanistan tells CNN the fallen service member is a special operations soldier who was carrying out a mission against a branch of ISIS in the region. We'll bring you more details just as soon as we get them. President Trump has openly admitted he has changed his attitude towards Syria and its president Bashar al-Assad. He says images like these from Tuesday's chemical attack deeply impacted him. How can they not? But the change in his attitude isn't slight. It's actually a complete about-face. My panel is back with me, former CIA counterterrorism analyst and a nationally syndicated radio host, Buck Sexton, and CNN political commentator and former mayor of Philadelphia, Michael Nutter. Mayor, the president did seem genuinely moved when he described the images of those children dying. Do you think he was sincere that it was the images that changed his entire view of Assad?
Well, he certainly seemed sincere. I'm not going to question that at all. But I think in a previous newscast, someone indicated that the president has been, I would say, evolving in his view about Syria, apparently going back to during the transition. So, but nonetheless, these images certainly are powerful. They're horrific. You know, if you have children, if you care about children, know any children, I mean, you just can't deal with this kind of stuff. Having said that, you know, I said earlier, I think that proportional response was correct, but I mean, you can't run foreign policy solely based on emotion and horrific images. The question now is what happens next? That was a message. Where's the policy? And what's the strategy? And you really have to do that, I think, in more than 140 characters. Sometime next week, not on Twitter, I believe the President of the United States should, in his own words, explain to the American public just what he plans to do. What's the game plan here? What's the strategy? Who's with us? And what are we trying to accomplish? I think we're all owed that. In addition to Congress getting, you know, their notice and playing their appropriate role, I think we should hear directly from the President of the United States of America as to what he plans to do.
Buck, do you believe that the U.S. airstrikes, or strikes, I should say, in Syria were a result of an emotional reaction, or was it part of a bigger strategy?
I think President Trump was sharing the emotional response that he had with the American people, understandably under the circumstances. And I also think that we would want the commander-in-chief to respond to events on the ground. The usage of chemical weapons, I don't think anybody disagrees with this or takes issue with it, is something apart from and different from just the day-to-day of what is a horrific civil war. And the estimates are 400 to 500,000 killed over the course of it. But when chemical weapons are at play, it does change the calculation, I think, for any commander-in-chief, as President Obama would have said, and I'm sure all the presidents before him in similar circumstances would have said as well. So I think the president responded to what happened as we would expect him to. I don't see this as a huge change in his overall Syria policy. I think this is still to be seen. I do have my concerns that we may find ourselves drawn into a much larger role in Syria as a result of this shift in thinking. But this is the first step on what would be a very long journey towards a major U.S. military intervention. And I don't see that happening. I think members of his own party and I think people that are in his trusted inner circle would push back on that, because we do not want to be in charge of this country. We don't want another situation like Iraq or Afghanistan where we are rebuilding a nation and providing its security. So that's where I see it right now. I just don't think it's this sea change in his thinking overall about the U.S. role in the Middle East or U.S. foreign policy more broadly. This is a response to a chemical weapons attack, which I think is broadly considered to be an appropriate and responsible way to go.
Gentlemen, thank you for staying with me through the hour.
It is a change from his past statements.
Okay, there you go.
It's a change from many of his past statements.
I mean, I conceded that. I'm saying it's not a change in the way he views the U.S. role in the world, which I think that's a pretty defensible and clear statement. So,
Gotta go, guys. We have a live report coming up right from North Korea. Michael Nutter and Buck Sexton, our thanks to both of you. Another target of President